Through other people, we create what we think about ourselves. Hey guys, my name is Lilia. I hope you're having a very good day today. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about something that I think is very important to talk about, and that's knowing your value or your self-worth. As most of you guys know, I'm a law student and also a philosophy student, and I like to use philosophical theories on everyday situations and everyday struggles to give myself a different perspective on the same situation. Because even if your situation is still the same, if you think differently about it, everything can change. In my opinion, that is the power of philosophy. I'm first going to be talking about what self-worth means to me. And I'm also going to share with you a little bit of my process of understanding what my self-worth is and how I can value myself and things that do and don't fit with that. And lastly, I'm going to be sharing my tips and tricks, what I've used to start living a life that values me as a person, and how I stopped doing things, but mostly how I stopped surrounding myself with people that made me feel worthless or that didn't value my self-worth. So if you're excited for this topic, if you think that this is a topic that's very important for you as well, give this video a thumbs up and let's start. So for me, self-worth is similar to self-esteem, but it's a little bit different. To me, self-esteem is a synonym for confidence. Confidence or self-esteem is something that's very important, and I definitely feel like a confident person is going to be way more successful in life, but also probably way happier in life. This, of course, depends on all the life choices that you're making, if you're actually thinking about doing things that make you happy, or if you are just a goal chaser without really thinking or taking a moment to reflect on your life and what you're actually doing. But with that being said, being confident is very important. However, self-worth is, in my opinion, even more important. The difference between confidence and self-worth to me is that confidence is more external. Confidence is more focused on how people see us, while self-worth, in my opinion, is completely internal. Fake it till you make it is very applicable on confidence, because even if you don't feel confident, if you act confident, people are going to see you as a confident person, which means that you are going to feel more confident from the inside as well, and slowly but surely become confident as well. However, I feel like this is not applicable at all when it comes to self-worth, because self-worth is something completely internal, and you can be the most successful person. Successful is, of course, relative to everyone's interpretation as well, but for example, have the highest grades, have the best job, have a good car, I don't know what you would perceive as successful, but you can have all those things, but still treat yourself or let other people treat you like you're worthless. And that's because confidence and self-worth are two different things. I'm now 23 years old, and I feel like I've only recently started to think about what I'm worth and what my value is. There are a couple reasons, I think, why it took me so long to start thinking about my own worth. And one of the reasons why is because valuing yourself and thinking that you are worthy are things that a lot of people have a negative opinion about. Saying that you value yourself and that you think that you deserve good things in life can be perceived as arrogant or obnoxious or whatever. And I think that it's actually quite horrible. Even though I don't agree with that thought at all, I still live in a society with a lot of people saying that, and in a way you of course internalize that. Although I would never say that I am a person that doesn't deserve anything in life, because I feel like I'm a good person and I treat others the way I like to be treated, and I feel like that's already giving me kind of a sense of self-worthiness. Still, I would find it a very difficult topic, and still I would do things that make me feel worthless or surround myself with people that make me feel worthless. And on that note, I want to talk a little bit about Paul Ricoeur, because he's the philosopher I want to discuss with you today. Paul Ricoeur was a philosopher mostly focused on phenomenology and hermeneutics. Phenomenology is a study in philosophy that mostly focuses on phenomenons or on consciousness and how we experience being conscious and different consciousness. I know it sounds quite vague. If you don't really understand it, I'll link a Wikipedia and also a more scientific source down below if you want to read a little bit more about it. And hermeneutics is focused on interpretation of communicative sources, and those can be verbal or non-verbal. So it can be texts, but it can be languages, but it can also be symbols or non-verbal ways of communication. Why on earth is this relevant for self-worth? Well, I'm going to read you guys a quote, and hopefully after that quote, or at least my interpretation of that quote, it will make a little bit more sense. I have my laptop right here to read you guys the quote because unfortunately I have not memorized it. This quote from one of the works of Paul Ricoeur is, "Man is the plural and collective unity in which the unity of destination and the differences of destinies are to be understood through each other." So what this quote means, or at least what my interpretation of this quote of Paul Ricoeur is, every person has a different identity, and that means that my identity differs from yours. Everyone in society has a different identity. However, we people still live in societies and we surround ourselves with a lot of other people, and communication with others is for us very important. Our communication with other members of society, with other people with completely different identities, is even so important to us that we use their identities or their vision of our identity to identify our own self. Now, maybe this sounds very theoretical, very philosophical, and you don't understand what I mean. In other words, what Paul Ricoeur wanted to say, and that's why I love using philosophy on everyday struggles, everyday issues, is that we use other people's opinion to identify our own. Even though we have completely different identities, we are bound to the identity of others because they use their identity to create a perception or an opinion of our identity. Even though they are completely different than us, they're still having an opinion about us or judging us, and we internalize that into our own identity, which means that we form our identity based on what society, what other identities think of us and how they perceive us. And if you look at it like that, it's very, very understandable how others can have such a big impact on our self-worth. Through other people, we create what we think about ourselves, which is a huge thing to say because we people always like to think that we are in control of our own identity because, you know, I'm me and you're you, you're a different person than me, so that means that you don't have any control of how I am. I am me and you are you. We exist at the same time, but we don't exist together, if that makes sense. I'm a completely different person than you. However, because we live in a society, our identities are bound to each other because of our opinions and perceptions of each identity. A big part of our identity is our self-worth. How we identify ourselves also means what we think we are worth and how we value ourselves. So if opinions of other people, of other identities matter to us, that means that our self-worth is also at least partly based on other people's opinions and how other people treat us. So coming back to my personal experience, one of the biggest reasons why I would feel worthless was based on the people I would have in my life. When I was younger, I really struggled with having real friends. I don't even want to call them friends. These people treated me in a poor way. They would be mean to me, they would be rude to me, they would use me, they would never genuinely be interested in what was going on in my life. Even though they treated me like crap, I would always be nice to them because I really wanted their appreciation. Because with their appreciation, I would feel better about myself and also have more self-worth. when it comes to friends like that, my biggest advice, and I'm not saying it's easy, it's not, like nothing about this is easy, it's a very difficult thing, I would say cut them out of your life. Even if you're friends for, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years, even if you're family, I know that is a very controversial topic because people think like blood is thicker than water, I think that's the saying. So you feel like family will always be there for you. I don't agree. I'm not saying family is not important, but what I'm saying is that if you're related or not doesn't say anything about how a person treats you and how a person is. And I've had, unfortunately, a lot of experience with family members that were not really nice people, and they are now not in my life, and I've never regretted that. It was a very difficult decision, of course, but I'm very happy to have these people not in my life. And I can also safely say that ever since I've cut out all these people out of my life, I started to gain way more self-worth and way more value about myself. However, I kind of saved the most sensitive topic for last, because I feel like my personal struggle with self-worth is guys and dating. I don't really like to talk about relationships and dating and boys and that kind of stuff on my channel because I feel like it's such a personal topic and I would feel a little bit awkward talking about this with people that I don't know. And I mean, although I really appreciate all of you watching my videos, I don't really know who watches my videos. I feel like my love life and how I think about my love life is so personal. I would not want strangers to know that. However, I feel like this was such a big issue for me with my self-worth that I wanted to address this. Hopefully I can help some of you out with that as well. And of course my battery died just when I wanted to start talking about something juicy. When it comes to my love life, I both have experiences with serious relationships and not so serious dating. And although there's nothing wrong with just dating for fun and no strings attached and things like that, what I've realized is that doesn't really suit me. Whenever I would start dating a person and I would feel connection with that person and maybe later on also have feelings for him, I would mostly unconsciously, but maybe also partly consciously, attach my self-worth to that person. So what I would do is, if he wouldn't text me back, or if he would ignore me, or I don't know, say something stupid to me or something, I would instantly feel horrible about myself. I know it sounds very stupid, because you know, it's just a guy, you're just dating him, there's nothing else going on. However, I would still value that other person's identity and his reflection on mine so much that I would internalize his behavior and start feeling like that as well. So one of the reasons why I mostly would feel very worthless is mostly because I would date a guy that would make me feel like that, because he either just wanted sex, or because he didn't like me enough, or sometimes because it was just not the right timing and he had his own struggles at that time and wasn't really ready for a serious relationship. I'm not blaming all of these guys, especially if they were honest with me from the start what they wanted. However, I do have experiences with guys that did use me, so they would first say and do all the right things that would make me feel like I could trust them and would make me value them even more. And after they lost their interest in me, they would then never contact me again. And that was that. For some people it's just something fun and they enjoy it and that's it. And for others it's way more personal and sensitive, and it's like it creates a certain connection. It's like you give a person a piece of you and that piece, you will never get it back. Now, I'm definitely one of those type of people. Both options are okay. However, I feel like especially guys really judge girls for not being easy. They think you're difficult and they think you're complicated just because you attach a certain meaning and value and also part of your self-worth. And ever since I started to stick with my identity and my values more, instead of giving those people with other identities so much power over my own identity and my own self-worth, I started to make choices that made me feel way more worthy. I started saying no to guys that only had bad intentions. I started cutting out people that didn't deserve me, and I started surrounding myself with others that did value me, and that also made me value myself more. And this is one of the things that I really want to make you realize. And I know it's such a sensitive and controversial topic. I hope I won't get hate on this, but honestly, I wish someone said this to me in this way. Because the people you surround yourself with and the choices that you make in your personal life, in your love life, in your work life, they're all a reflection of how you value yourself. Even if you are confident and even if you think you value yourself, but you end up with these guys that treat you horribly, or you end up with people that are mean to you and, I don't know, like treat you poorly, there's something wrong with your value. Because if you value yourself, you would not put yourself in that situation to begin with, and you would not surround yourself with people like that to begin with. So the last thing that I want to give you is to, now, after watching this video, write down 5 of the things you value about yourself, or you think are good about yourself and that make you feel worthy. These can be things that you do, characteristics, some people you surround yourself with, choices that you make, things you achieved. It doesn't matter. Just write them down, and if you want, if it's not too personal, you can share them with me. You can send me an Instagram DM. My Instagram username is LilyLikeCom, and I would love to read it, because valuing yourself and knowing your self-worth is an internal process, and that's why you have to really think about it and work on it and write it down to also see external results of your value, of your self-worth. That's the end of this Phillyphy, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to share something about this topic as well, if you found it interesting. I'll definitely read everything and I'll try to respond. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because that means a lot to me. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and found it helpful. I always try to make these videos less cliche and more based on philosophy and more academic resources. So I'll definitely link some resources down below if you're interested in more reading. Although I do have to say, philosophy reading is not easy reading, you know? So if I'm gonna link something that's not Wikipedia, it's going to be quite tough for you to understand. Just a little, you know, disclaimer. It's not like an easy, like, novel to read or something. So I hope you will have a very good day today, especially after watching this video. And I'll talk to you later. Bye guys.
I remember day first came in that room filled with sun rays, which in Jews is intake. Therefore the smiley faces from these sliding, gliding.